Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Oh Shoot. Today we have a guest on the podcast, an in-person guest, which happens rarely if it's not Charlie. I have Preston Luke.
What's up, everybody?
You are a highly requested guest. Okay. So I'm happy that you're back.
Well, not only have I been here before, it's fun that it's in person this
time. I feel like it's going to be easier to banter, if you will.
It's gonna be easier to banter because there's no lag. So we'll just you're going to hear us in the raw.
It's fast. It's witty. Yeah. It's in person. So first things first, I made Preston a strawberry matcha this morning. So he is going to try it for you guys live.
We're going to do a taste test. I did already stir it. So the strawberry, you can't see as much.
Yeah. It was really pretty. I kind of do a thing where I just make it cute and stuff.
Yeah, it was very nice. All right, here we go. Oh, that's so good. Okay, wait. Yeah. It has matcha, strawberry. Is there like vanilla in here?
Yeah, there's a little bit of vanilla and then strawberry cold foam on top. It's good.
Yeah. Send it to Starbucks.
Send it to Starbucks, sure.
To Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I ordered something similar at Starbucks. You can get strawberry cold foam at Starbucks. And I think they have strawberry syrup.
I think Cassidy Lynne's is better.
Thank you. So Preston's on the podcast. Why don't you give everyone an update from the last time that you were on? Just maybe some things that have been going on. I don't know.
What month was I on? I think
I have no
since
idea.
Last time I was here, maybe I had hosted my first workshop, which was Club Content.
I don't think you had yet.
I hadn't? Maybe I was getting ready to announce it, actually. But I hosted Club Content. You were there. You spoke at it. We did that. And then I opened a studio, which was super fun. It's been actually a month today it has been open. So that's been going on. Between then, I've worked with lots of new brands since the last time we spoke. I was just starting to work with brands, and now I am in the thick of it, which is so much fun.
It's exciting. Let's talk about your studio for a minute.
Yeah, let's do it.
So what inspired you to start a studio? I think a lot of listeners probably have the same urge. From what I've heard, a lot of people have that dream. So where did it stem from?
Well, I've always wanted to do a studio. It's like a photographer's dream, to get a studio.
Have your own space to shoot in.
Right, yeah. And so not only did I always want to do one, once I started doing social media how I did, it was I really need a good space that I can just create in. So that was another reason. And so I wasn't actively looking for a studio space because everyone's like, how did you find your studio? I wasn't actively looking for a space. The owner of the building actually reached out to me. And they were like, hey, we have this available. We think this would be a good fit for you for a studio.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I got a decent deal out of it. I was like, that's a good deal. I'll do that. So I signed up, signed the link, signed up for it. Signed up is crazy.
I hit subscribe.
I tapped that subscribe button and I was like, yeah, we'll do it. So I signed a lease for the studio. And then I started renovating it, and I renovated it quick. Within 2 weeks, it was done, which is crazy. But my overall inspiration for it was I want it to be all white, clean slate. It's called Slate Studios. The Instagram audience has turned it into SLAYTE, slate.
Oh, okay.
That's what they've all been saying, so it's been really funny. But anyways, Slate Studios, clean slate. Start with the clean slate. You can come in, bring anything, any color you want, and then you have a pretty white studio. Of course, we have different backdrops and different things you can use.
Right.
But that was my inspo for it. And we've had a great response. Where I say we, as in I am we, but I offered, once I announced it, I had actually opened it up to the public. So any photographer, anyone can rent it by the hour.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And do you find that that's been doing well, passive income wise? Is something you want to keep
really
going?
Well. Yeah. So even this last weekend, I was on my way. Maybe I wasn't on my way here. I was about to be on my way here because I came after the weekend. But I was, not even in the studio at all. I had 11 rentals this weekend.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So on a Saturday and Sunday, just Saturday and Sunday, 11 rentals, which is insane. And that paid for it in a weekend. Yeah. That paid for the month of that it needed to for rent. So that's been amazing. So I definitely say if you're going to open a studio, look at making it a rentable studio.
For sure.
And if it's maybe something that's popular in your area, make it different somehow so it stands out.
Yeah. And you have help with the studio, right? You have a cleaning team.
Yes.
Obviously you do all the admin and stuff for it?
I do all the admin for it, but how I have it set up, it basically runs itself.
Okay.
It's so easy. All the emails are set up so once someone purchases a time slot, they get a direct email that gets sent to them, and then 24 hours before their session, their time slot, they get another email with how to get in, all of the rules of the studio,
Right.
and that stuff. So
okay,
yeah,
that's nice. It's nice to just be able to let it cook. You know,
no, yeah, it's nice to let it cook and then just come in and I have a Ring camera, so I like to like check in to see what's going on and different things. So yeah, it basically runs itself. So it's been really nice. I haven't had any problems yet. It's only been a month.
Yes, we don't want to jinx it. So far, so good. But we never know. Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
You never know.
Yeah.
Watch you go back and like everything's broken.
I know. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Someone like spray painted everywhere or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's bad. Yeah, we won't be doing that.
Okay, so let's also talk about club content. So you did like a whole content weekend. This was back in June at this point.
Yeah, we have this thing where we keep calling it a content weekend because I keep calling it a content weekend.
Oh.
But it was during the week.
Oh.
And I felt like it was so much more than a content event. I'm now calling it like a conference.
Okay.
Because think about it, we had 4 like sessions where we talked about like educational different things.
Yeah.
So like I did one by myself. I did one about like my process of how I edit and like after I do a shoot, and then I did one about community, and then you did one about weddings and like traveling wedding photography and just like deep dive into that. So and it felt very like conference-y vibes.
Yeah. When I think of a conference though, I think of like 1,000 people and like one of those like arena type of things.
This is a cute little quaint conference.
Yeah, like that's what I picture when I think of a conference. I feel like
fair.
it's almost like a retreat.
Maybe a retreat is better.
Yeah. But when I hear of retreat, then I also think of like staying overnight all in the same place and like spa vibes.
Exactly. See, that's why I don't say retreat, because I did have a house that I had VIP exclusives stay in. And the only reason I had exclusives is because VIPs is because there is not a house in my area big enough to host 30 people.
Right.
So that's why I didn't really call it a retreat, only because, I feel like a retreat is like everyone's together. Yeah.
I guess there's not a term for it, I feel.
I fear it's my event.
It is club content.
It is club content. Club content speaks for itself.
So do you think retreat-wise, because I think a lot of people listening are into retreats. Like people want to host their own retreats, their own content days. These are like dreams. You're basically doing everyone's dreams right now. So like,
you're so sweet for that.
Do you think that like that's something you're going to keep doing in the future? Like, do you think it's profitable to continue? Because it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Like,
yes, it's a lot of work.
Do you think it's worth it to keep?
I do think it's worth it. Yes. See, I only think it's worth it from like the community I've built. If I didn't have a community, I would be like, why did I just do all that work?
Okay.
So I think you need to make sure you know where you're at in your business to do it.
Right.
If you don't think you have a community that follows you and like respects like everything that you do and is like keeping up with like how if you're even teaching and all that stuff, then it might not be a good option for you at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you need to make sure you like I would like hound down and like really lock in and be like, I want to do educational stuff. And that's what I would recommend if you are wanting to maybe get into doing stuff like that.
Or if you're not like that good of a teacher, you're not into it. If you're really known for like, I don't know, you're really vibey photos or something, making sure that what you're offering is like a bunch of vibey photo shoots, like whatever it is.
Like a styled shoot event instead of a workshop or
whatever it is you feel like you're super confident in, like making sure that's kind of where your retreat content weekend conference, that's what you're like basing it off of.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. And I think anyone can do it. They just need to lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone listening wants to start doing stuff like that, what would be like a piece of advice you would give someone?
So I guess if you wanted to start doing retreats and events, it would be, my biggest advice would be to like, I guess what we just said, kind of like figure out the best like route that works best for you. Like, what are you like specializing in? Like my biggest thing was my directing, So it wasn't my editing. It wasn't, you know, I mean, it's kind of turned into my creative photo shoots, but it was in the beginning how I directed.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what I took on mine, is making sure I had educational and like teaching and directing.
Yeah.
So I would just find your niche in that area.
Yeah. Just whatever you feel like people would want, make sure it's present at your retreat.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Well, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. And this episode, we're actually doing a little portrait photographer versus wedding photographer thing. Like it's kind of like, what do you say? It's a game?
It's like a little game, just like a little, like, maybe, I don't know if trivia, or maybe just like, it's like on the first day of school, whenever you're sitting there.
An icebreaker. Yeah. We're trying to like mend the line between portrait and wedding photographers. We're going to quiz each other, see how well maybe we know the industry. We're going to be playing 2 truths and a lie.
Yes.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. I've got some really mind-boggling things that Preston's just not ready for.
I don't know. I feel like I got some good things. I think some of them are like a couple of mine are from the industry, but also a couple of them are just like experiences that I've had. Yeah. And you're just going to have to be like, did this actually happen to me or did it not?
We're going to have to find out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start. We're basically going to go through, I'm going to read them. And mine are like about wedding photography, but some of them are about just like things that I've experienced, like you said. Okay. So this first one is about timeline. Okay. So we're doing 2 truths and a lie, in case you missed that 2 minutes ago. 2 of them are true. 1 of them is not true. Okay. And it's going to be harder than you think. Okay. So number 1, on a wedding day, I create a shared note with Charlie and we keep track of the timeline there. Okay. Number 2, I set my timeline as my home screen on my phone, like my lock screen.
Okay.
And then number 3, I create the photo timeline beforehand with my clients.
Oh, I'm going to say lock screen is the lie.
It is a lie. Yes, That's good. So here's my thing.
That's not your brand.
It's absolutely not my brand. And I've tried it before, like setting the timeline as my lock screen, because everyone does it. Because it's supposed to be like, oh, you tap your phone, it's right there.
Right.
But it's so overstimulating for me.
Yeah. Not only you have the time.
Yes, it's like, the time.
Get out of my face.
Yeah. It's like at the top, like if I'm trying to look at the time, it's like I can't really see the time because it's like the timeline's there. And I'm like, this just does more harm than good. Like it just stresses me out. Plus my like note, my shared note with, I will always send it to Charlie, it's like interactive, like there's like check boxes and like stuff, and I need to scroll, like there's a lot in it, so there's just not one section I could put as the lock screen. You know,
that's fair. Yeah
So timelines are a really big part of a wedding day.
For sure.
I do create the timeline with my clients before. Sometimes I don't know, it's different per client. Some clients like love to be hands-on,
right, and
love to like do it with me and do calls and whatever. Other clients like literally have like a coordinator make the timeline and they just send it to me. So it kind of like varies, but for the most part, I always make like the photo timeline. Yeah. So even if they have a coordinator that like makes a timeline for me, they'll send it to me and I will still have to put in like 15 minutes for detail photos, like 30 minutes for getting ready photos. You have 15 minutes to get dressed. Like that stuff is not usually what a coordinator would put in. So I still have to put those details in myself.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that me and Preston have talked about these past couple of days he's been here. You shoot some weddings sometimes.
I occasionally do. You
dabble.
I was gonna say that. I dabble in a wedding here and there.
Yeah. So why?
Okay, so this is actually really funny. Here's some of my lore. Is that I actually was like ready to commit to doing weddings full time 2 weeks before I like blew up on social media.
Are you being for real?
Yes. I have a post that I literally posted, and I don't even say I was going to commit. I committed. I made a post that was like love stories by Preston Luke. I had a full on like videographer, like commercial looking video that was right all in the slides. I had reviews from past weddings. I had engagements and weddings. There was like a whole like 10 slide thing that you could go through and
That's
basically
crazy.
just like sell myself in an Instagram post, and then I pinned it.
Really?
Yeah. So I had that and I was fully ready to just like take on weddings. I had been doing graduating seniors for so long. I was ready. I was like, let's do something different.
You were ready to graduate.
I was ready
from
to graduate.
seniors.
I was tired of being a super senior for so long.
Yeah.
So I graduated from that, and I was like, we're doing weddings. And then I had, had some senior content that I was obviously still doing because that was like my main source of income. So I was posting that, and then that video that I posted like 2 weeks later had 8 million views. And then since then, it's all like posing seniors, posing guys, and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, screw weddings, because no one cared about that.
Right.
Everyone was like, show me what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is actually crazy.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you were ready to let seniors go, but they weren't ready to let you go.
No. And then they wrapped that. They decided to wrap around my leg, and they were just like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, kicking and screaming.
No,
they went down kicking and screaming.
They were like, you can't leave us. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you have shot weddings then, like.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
this is what were you gonna say?
Well, I'm just like, you have experience doing weddings. I really don't have hardly any experience doing portraits. Portraits
Really?
terrify me.
I have. Oh, really?
Yes. Do you want to hear why?
That's why Cassidy never wants to take my photo.
Yeah, I'm always like, Preston, take my photo.
Literally.
Portraits are so hard posing wise for me, because with couples.
Imagine.
I know. You're like, that's what I do every single day. I struggle with like the single person posing. Like, I'm like, what do you do with your hands? What do you do with your legs? What do you do with your face? What are you even looking at? Whereas with a couple, it's so obvious that like they're just interacting. Like that's the pose.
It's like, I feel like that's how it is with me with couples. I mean, I can still pose a couple, but it's not. I don't think it comes as easy as a portrait does. I just have to think more, but I could fool anyone though.
Yeah, right. Oh no, I can definitely fool anyone as well. I'll be like I actually did my cousin's senior photos like a couple weeks ago, and I was rocking it, whatever, like doing good things. But like at the end of it, I was like, bro, I literally had no idea what I was doing the whole time.
So funny. Hey, at least you're honest. Well, in the transparency of me doing weddings, I'm going to transition to mine because it has. Well, I'll just read it to you.
Okay.
So I photographed my first wedding when I was 17. Okay. I was a full-time photographer at 20 years old, and I've never photographed an engagement. Like on your wedding engagement.
Yeah. Wait, like
a proposal.
Like
I
a
guess.
proposal.
Yeah.
Proposal.
Yeah. Correct.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. My first wedding, I was 17, and the clients, they just graduated high school and they were 19.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it was like a 500 person wedding. It was
That's crazy.
Yeah, but the photos were good.
So when I first started doing weddings, you're like, but the photos 8. So
yeah,
whatever.
No, the photos 8 still. So
when I first started doing weddings, my first clients were really, really young because I was also young.
Yeah,
and they were like friends and whatever. We all had like, those friends that got married very young, and we're always like, okay, sure, happy marriage. Like I feel like now that I've gotten older, my clients are a lot older. My typical age range for clients, I would say, is around like 30 years old. Like it's very average for 30-year-olds to be getting married. But then I'll say like they'll be married, and I follow them on Instagram and stuff, and then all of a sudden, all my clients are pregnant. Like I swear lately it's been like within the year that my clients get married, they all get pregnant. Yeah. And I think it's because they're older. Whereas when I was younger shooting these weddings, it would be like years.
Yeah, for sure.
But now I'm transitioning into this older market.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But with older clients comes, more extravagant weddings.
Yeah. Which is nice. But I mean, like that makes sense. I feel like because everyone says 30s is the new 20s.
Oh yeah.
So like,
but I think it's 30-year-olds are saying that.
I think you're so right. Yeah. But also if someone's like they're 21, I'm like, okay, so you're 15.
Literally. So, I'm like, you have not lived. No, you have not seen the things I've seen.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah, that's so funny. That's funny.
Okay. I'll do mine. Ooh, okay. Remember, these are 2 truths and 1 lie. Okay. I feel like I have to preface that.
Yeah.
Number 1, we always grab a drink from the bar at a wedding.
Okay.
Number 2, some venues have a $5,000 charge for bringing outside alcohol. And number 3, if a client asks me to do a shot with them, I'll do it only after all the events are complete.
The shot one.
Really?
Is a lie.
No.
Oh.
The lie is we always grab a drink from the bar at a wedding. We don't do that.
Really?
That's
Okay.
pretty unprofessional, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously, like it depends on the couple and stuff. Some of my couples are like offended if I don't get a drink. Like the last wedding I shot, the groom wanted me and Charlie to get drinks so bad. He was like, "Oh, you guys have fun, like
Yeah,
whatever."
that's how they usually are.
Yeah. And so the last one, if a client asks me to do a shot with them, I'll do it only after all the events are complete. That's true because I'm like, I don't know if that means something to them. Like you can tell like if a client really wants you to like,
Right.
I don't know, participate like only after all the events are done, like, and we're on open dancing. And I know basically I have all the good shots that I need.
Yeah.
Would I partake in? Yeah. Number one, I am like a lightweight. So that's not like great. You know, I don't want my photos being all crooked and just literally like the worst photos you've ever seen.
That's fair.
So I'm like, after everything's done, if it really means that much to my client and they asked me to,
Yeah.
and like low-key kind of peer pressuring me, I would.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like
yeah.
I would get a drink from the bar, but it would be like what you said, like towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
Like whenever it's just dancing.
Yes.
Like I'm not going during dinner and like, hey, can I get
Right. And the problem with if you get a drink during dinner, like for me, the problem is I haven't eaten all day probably. And that's like my first meal I'm having. And so that's not really a good combo, especially dinner. Usually after dinner, there's still like dances and things that need to be photographed.
Right.
I actually have shot at venues where if you do get a drink from the bar, like they will blacklist you. Like you are not allowed back. Like their bartenders keep track of like the people that like, you know, the vendors that will, you know, excessively get drinks.
Yeah.
I think there's like a fine line and a balance.
Yeah.
You know, like one drink, okay, cool. If you're like taking advantage of it, like not that cool.
Right. Yeah. Not cool.
Yeah. The middle one that I said, some venues have a $5,000 charge for bringing outside alcohol. Literally so true. Like these venues are crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And like it's even like into the bridal suites, like when you're getting ready.
Yeah, so I told Cassidy offline the other day that I'm shooting a wedding in October, and that's how this wedding is. And they had to buy like special insurance just to like bring outside alcohol in that wasn't on the bar.
It's
into the bridal suite.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
It's a whole thing. And like they're usually really strict about it. And I think it's a liability thing on the venue side of it.
Gotta be, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like a little, I don't know. Like I get both sides, but it's from the client's perspective, it's just like really, really annoying.
For sure.
And the fact that you have to threaten like $5,000 is also like annoying. That you have to be like, don't do it.
Yeah.
It'll cost you $5,000. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is pretty wild. For sure.
It's insane. Okay,
I'll go. I once had a client message me 1 hour after their photo shoot asking, "How are the photos coming along?"
Okay.
One time my client didn't receive their images from a senior session until 5 months after their session.
Oh no. Wait, both of these are crazy.
I once photographed 5 senior sessions in one day.
I think the lie is the 5 months.
Okay. So I have to do a story
justifying.
time. I have to do a story time. Here's what happened. So no, the lie is I once photographed 5 senior sessions in one day.
Really?
I think the most I probably have ever done is like 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe like mini sessions or something like that, but they're seniors, like
senior pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
No, basically the one for this was like a timeline of like June to November, and so like I had done their photo shoot in June, and like edited like in my 6 weeks, like I always do. And I had sent it to them, but I guess like somewhere there was lost in translation of like emails. Okay, like there was a mistake in like on an email, and so like I sent it to them, and you know I've said this many times on my Instagram. You know, always receive like an email back when you send photos. Like sometimes they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like whatever. And then in November I got an email. She was like, "Hey, we're supposed to get photos for the yearbook. Do you have my photos done yet?" I was like, "I sent your photos to you in like end of July, August."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And so she didn't have them that entire time. But she just never said anything.
Yeah.
She was like, "I thought you were just busy, so I didn't want to bother you." And I was like, "Oh no." They felt so bad.
Wait, so what happened? Like,
I just gave her I was like, here's her gallery. Like it's been ready since.
Did she not check her email or like she never got the email?
I don't know if she didn't get the email, if it was typed in wrong. But she just never even asked.
Okay.
She just she just was like, I didn't want to bother you. I was like, I showed her, like, I was like, I had sent this email to you like months ago.
Yeah, that has never happened to me before. Well, that's crazy.
I mean, like, if it was even whenever it's like coming up on like time to deliver, I'm always like getting an email or a message from them like, hey, am I still gonna get these at this time, or there's different things, you know, like
that's common for you.
Yeah, because it's seniors, and so they're in the like, that's common for me because if you do senior photos, you know, like they're used to like taking photos on their iPhone and then having them. So even to wait like as long as like they do like for my contract, that's pulling teeth for them.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're used to like instant gratification.
It's true. So do you do like previews or anything?
I usually, I'll like whenever I was deep in the senior photos, I don't do them as much anymore, but it was like previews on like, I would do Instagram previews within like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice at least. I think that's kind of what you need. Because even if they have like a yearbook deadline, they just need like one photo.
Yeah. I agree.
So they could use that from the previews.
Yeah. So I felt really bad about that. That was like crazy, but I
mean, and not really your fault.
Yeah, it's not really my fault, but it like also still reflects on me. Like even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and like that's what's hard is because like I know what happened and maybe she knows what happened, but like let's say like her mom like didn't know the full story.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or someone else didn't know the full story, but like got like glimpse. That doesn't sound good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's multiple sides to every story. So
yeah, I could see a mom being like, she didn't get the photos for like 6 months. It's like, well,
yes,
she did, but according to my email, she did.
Yeah, exactly.
According to your email, she didn't.
Right. So, anyways,
okay, that's crazy. Okay, I once got makeup off of a groom's white tux, so I like removed makeup from a groom's white tux. It's common for guests to wear a version of a white dress on a wedding day, and I got asked to change out of a white sweater while shooting a wedding.
I would say number 2.
It's common for guests to wear versions of a white dress.
That's a lie. That's not common.
I would say it's more common than you think. So
really?
I think, for me, that was the truth. My lie was that I got asked to change out of a white sweater.
That would have been my second. That's crazy.
Obviously that didn't happen, but what it made me think of, I was like kind of basing it off a little bit of a truth because there was one time I was shooting a wedding and I was in San Francisco. So I just had like my stuff that I brought with me, obviously in my suitcase. And I was so cold and all I had was like this white, like sweater shawl thing.
Yeah.
And so I put it on in front of the bride, but I asked her, hey, is it okay if I wear this white sweater? And my bride was like, bro, obviously, like no one's gonna think you're the bride based on your white cardigan. And I'm like, oh, you're so right. So sorry.
That's funny.
I just feel like it's more common than you think. I mean, Taylor Swift just wore a white dress to a wedding. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. I mean,
like it's obviously not like an actual white dress, but like white with some sort of pattern.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
Never to the point where it's like that kind of looks like the bride.
Yeah.
But enough that it's like, okay.
Yeah. I am not married or am I in a relationship, but I think if I ever do get married, I just want like everyone just wear black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like a funeral vibe.
Yeah. Like it's timeless though.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think it's nice to give people like a color palette, like guess.
Yeah.
Some sort of.
I just feel like if I gave a color palette, someone would still mess it up.
No, yeah. I feel like saying we're all black is the same as giving a color palette. It's like stay within the confines of my orders, please.
Please. Yeah. Please or don't be in any photos.
Yeah, literally. And you guys heard it here first. Slide into Preston Luke's DMs. He is on the market.
On the market now.
Hot to go.
I am HOTTOGO. That's crazy.
Yeah, you guys DM him. Or if you know someone, you know, in the Arkansas area, hit him up. He's also willing to travel, right? You're willing to travel.
I am quite the travelist.
He is as single as a prickle.
I can travel from East Coast to West Coast if I need to.
Yeah.
That's wild.
This guy wants to grow. I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're done.
All right, we're moving on.
Okay, so 2 truths, 1 lie. A parent wanted to take shots with me before a senior session started.
Like alcohol shots?
Yeah, like they offered me like, hey, let's do some shots.
Oh.
I do makeup for 90% of my portrait senior clients. Or last one, someone once offered my client and I a joint during a session.
Okay, I know the middle one is true, but I don't know if it's 90%. I'm going to say the joint one. That's a lie.
That's a lie. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain.
So which one do you want me to explain?
The shots one.
Yeah. So I'm at this. Okay, I have to be careful not to like give away any personal details, like going through my head.
If you switch like a detail, like not to like give away what I do, but literally like, sometimes I'll switch. Like if it's a guy, I'll say it's a girl, or like, you know, I switch a detail. So it's like,
so a dad. Anyways, I was at someone's house, like getting ready for a senior session. Like we had actually. This was a very like wealthy client, and so they were like, "We just want you to come to our house and do everything." You know,
yeah.
Like sometimes like they come to me or come to the studio or come do something. They're like, "We just want everything at our house." I'm like, "All right, cool," because they have like they have the grounds for it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, go off." So we went to their house and they got their makeup done, and then they were getting changed, ready to go, and they were like, "Hey, I got some like Patron. Like, do you want to do some shots before this?"
The senior did?
No. The parent. I was like, that is despicable.
Right. And also, like, do you want good photos? That's what I always say. Do you want good photos?
Would you? Yeah, it's either good photos or a yap sesh.
Yeah. Like, literally, these are not, like, just let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this reminds me.
So I declined, of course.
Right, of course. Allegedly.
I'm just
kidding.
Rumor has it.
I had this engagement session and it was like a little bit of a drive for me. And on my way there, the client texts me and says, I had like never met this person before, like barely, like just emailed with them like once. Okay. They texted me saying, "Hey, do you have any alcohol with you?" And I was like, no. Why? Like, why? Do you want champagne? Like, I'm thinking, oh, like maybe they want a champagne pop and that's why they use the word alcohol. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so I was like, no, like, sorry, like, what's up? And they were like, oh, it's okay. We're just going to run to a liquor store before. And I'm like, they drove really far to be there too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. And they like literally during the session were like taking like little shots of like Fireball and stuff. Which, like, to each their own, but it was giving, like, really desperate for, like, alcohol. And I was like,
yeah,
why are you asking me?
Right.
Like, just stop somewhere if you want it that bad. But, like, why ask your photographer?
Also,
like, and it wasn't like we had a relationship like that either, is the thing. Right.
I don't know them like that.
Yeah.
Which is, like, is a engagement photos or senior session, not for the senior, but, like, is that a time to really just, like, go crazy and get some like drinks in? Like, do we need that?
Yeah. And like I get like wanting to loosen up, but I feel like sometimes it's like beyond that. And it's like, okay, what's the deeper rooted issue here? Like, do you not have fun with your partner? Is that why? This is what it takes, you know, like,
yeah, for sure.
These are real things I wonder sometimes. I'm like,
I mean, that's fair.
What is happening here? Not that I'm like a marital counselor or anything, but I'm like,
Dr. Phil over here.
Should we be getting married?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
The only thing worse than taking too many photos while you're shooting is getting home and then having to edit all of them. Here are some ways to speed up your editing workflow without losing any quality in your work. Today, I want to introduce Aftershoot Edits 2.0. You can experience the most consistent edits straight out of Aftershoot. One of my favorite things about Aftershoot is their upgraded white balance and exposure AI models. Even if your lighting varies during your session and you have a lot of drastic changes, Aftershoot's able to instantly fix any blown out highlights, murky shadows, and overall, this feature allows you to have balanced photos no matter what your lighting conditions were. Another way to speed up your editing workflow is by using AI masking in Aftershoot Edits 2.0. This feature allows you to selectively edit your images through masking. With AI masking, Aftershoot can automatically select your subjects and adjust them to really make them pop in your image. Another great way to save time while you're editing is to use Aftershoot's advanced cropping and straightening. This tool allows you to customize and select any aspect ratio, and it even automatically crops in your photos so that the focus is more on your subject. It also can automatically straighten your photo, which is going to save you so much time in the long run. Say goodbye to spending way too much time editing your photos and use Aftershoot Edits 2.0. Aftershoot has an exclusive offer for all Oh Shoot listeners, so go to the link in the description of this episode to find out more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now back to the show.
Wait, is it my turn or yours? Did you just go, or did I just? I think I just went.
You just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just on your tangent.
I
was.
I
I
was.
was making sure I didn't miss it.
Yeah, I literally forgot that happened to me. So thank you for letting me really indulge in that memory.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm glad I could be here.
Okay, speaking of substances. Okay, I once had a couple tell me that they were leaving to do cocaine at a wedding.
Oh.
I had a couple who had a custom blunt bar at their wedding.
It's giving Colorado.
I had a father of the groom ask me to smoke a cigar with him outside.
Blunt bar.
No
way. No way.
The lie is the cigar thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be the least like.
I know. That's why I'm good at this game.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like the other two are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
just crazy things.
Wild.
Like in the moment, like I think the blunt bar is not that like crazy if that's like, if that's what you're into, but like if you're going to leave to do an illegal substance, just don't tell me. Like I don't know why they felt the need to tell me. I don't know. Sometimes on a wedding day, sometimes I feel like my couples feel like I'm like they have to ask permission for me sometimes.
Well, not only that, I feel like they like, no matter what, like I have not done as near as many weddings as you, but from my experience in weddings, like they really just like, they like they'll tell you anything on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Especially the photographer, like you are their like daily therapist.
Yes.
You're their daily counselor.
Yeah. And really, I don't mind it. I love, like, I feel like you really get to know your clients.
You do.
Like on a wedding day in a really good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes your clients get very comfortable with you. And most of the time that's fine. But in this instance, it was like, okay, I don't need to necessarily know that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Have fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to act like I didn't hear that.
Yeah. That's wild. Okay, let's see here. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm excited for this one. Okay. My high school senior photographer that took my senior photos.
Yep.
They mentored me as soon as I graduated, and then as soon as I started seeing success, blocked me.
Oh, that's tea.
Someone once tried to sue me and a family for taking senior photos on a private property. Or, last one, I've never had someone hate their gallery I've sent them.
I'm going to say the first one about getting blocked. Really?
Yeah.
Is the second one the lie? About the private property?
It's the hate their photos. Yeah.
So you've had someone hate?
I actually only happened ever once. Someone was like, it was actually the mom that I had sent the gallery, and the senior posted them, and the mom was like, actually, like, and she started giving me a list of like things that I needed and she wanted.
Awesome.
I was like,
cool.
Because your daughter loved them. Your daughter tagged me.
That is probably one of the things I really don't envy about that industry.
Yes.
You're not only you basically have two clients, and for me, in my contract, it says like my client is the bride and the groom. Like it lists their names out and it says I will not communicate with anyone else outside of the two of them.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, I feel like you really can't say that unless they're 18.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I have my seniors sign, but their parents sign with them. Like it's together. But it is hard, especially whenever it's two generations. So like the seniors are trendy, like we get each other. Yeah. But the parent is like,
Yeah. Why didn't we get this shot? Like, why is this like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like why is blurry. She looking at the ground smiling? Why would she not be? Because like that's cute.
Right. Because she's cute. That's why. Yeah. Because she's that girl.
Yeah, she's her. So yeah.
Okay. So you got blocked.
Yeah, I got blocked. Still am blocked to this day. But like, yeah.
Wow.
It was so weird. Like she was so excited to help me and like help me grow, and then I started like seeing success within like 6 months. Blocked.
So was she in like basically a similar industry as you, like doing seniors?
Oh yeah, she was.
So it definitely is like a competition thing.
For sure, yeah, 100% competition thing.
Dang.
Yeah, it does suck though.
I wish. Have you seen them around? Or?
No, because they also moved.
Oh, bye.
Yeah.
Fresh start.
Yeah, they moved, but it was also just interesting when it all happened because I was 19 and they were like 42.
Oh.
So it's just like, as in like, you are like, you should be much more mature than this. 'Cause
Yeah.
as a 19-year-old, I was like, this is so immature.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, that makes me feel icky.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah,
Oh, that's the worst.
it was the worst. And there was no like nothing that happened. It was literally just like a competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then what was your other one you said? Oh,
Someone once tried to sue me and a family for taking photos on a private property.
did they actually go as far as like contact a lawyer, or was it just like, I'm gonna sue you?
So it was a old like almost like a small country club. Okay. And it had shut down. It had been shut down for like 10 years. And it had this really cool, like, I mean, like overgrown, just like really cool spot. And people have taken photos there before. I just had maybe more of like more eyes on me, so they had saw it. But there's like no signs, nothing. And like we didn't go like deep into it. We were just like out like whenever you pull into the parking lot outside the building.
Yeah.
Because it looked really cool. And so they like emailed me with the photos, and they were like, we are going to like press charges against you if you don't pay this much money to like oh yeah. And they're like, there's private property signs all over the place, blah 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 blah, which there weren't. And the only reason that really got me out of it, they didn't ever get to contact a lawyer, because I basically was like, actually there weren't private property signs, and I have proof because I have behind the scenes from the entire photo shoot.
Yeah.
Like there's not a single private property sign. And then that next week, everywhere, you couldn't go 5 feet without a private property sign.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So.
Oh, crazy. So
yeah.
It never actually.
Yeah. No, they would just like were threatening, and I was like, it was like basically either like, we are going to take you to court, or you need to pay us like $500.
Okay.
I was like, no, neither.
No. Goodbye.
I choose the third option.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, but it was funny because like so many other photographers had shot there before. It was just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
That's
the short
annoying.
End. I was like,
well, it worked out.
It worked out. Yeah. I was like, I have my receipts.
Yeah. Okay. So, for me, this next one is like the most common reason we run over a timeline. Okay. So one of these is a lie. Wait. One of these is a lie? Wait, hold on. Did I really lock in when I was writing this? No, I'm thinking about it. Okay, sure. One of these is a lie. Wait, no, one of these is true. The two other are a lie. Sorry.
Okay, so I need to find the truth.
Yeah, find the truth. Okay. First reason we would run over timeline is hair and makeup. Second reason is because of me, the photographer. And then the third reason is like lack of coordination, lack of a coordinator keeping us on track.
Two are a lie, one's the truth. One of them is like the real reason you would run over.
You know, I feel like it was two lies, one truth. Wait, what? This game really confuses me.
So two of those are a reason you run over, and one of them is not?
Yeah. I
would say you're never the problem, Cassidy.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's pretty obvious. Obviously, I'm not the problem. Well, I guess like the main reason I would say is usually hair and makeup.
Yeah.
It's pretty common that like hair and makeup just like it's almost like when they're touching up things that like don't need to be touched up, being so meticulous about everything that it just takes really, really long.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And like that bleeds into the other areas of the day. Or I do feel like a lack of coordination keeping us on track would also be a reason. Sometimes I can't do it all. And like literally I cannot like progress the order of events sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I can only do so much, but sometimes it's literally like I cannot line people up and tell them when to walk in.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
But, and there have been times where like that has been the only time where things have been like a little bit late. It's because literally I had to be at the front and I could not tell people go.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I did a wedding, and the makeup artist had allotted 2 hours to do 10 bridesmaids makeup. And it was just one makeup artist.
That's stupid.
I was like,
wait, let's do the math here. That's like around 10 minutes, 15 minutes per person.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
No way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They'd all have to do like their base first.
Yeah.
But still, that's not a long time.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
Yeah. So I was like, we need more time for hair and makeup.
So. Hair and makeup it's important, but like they have to, if that runs over, like if you start the day
yes.
like behind, the rest of the day will be behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
But usually, if we start the day behind, I try to make it up in portrait somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'll try to speed up my process slightly so that we, make it to the ceremony on time or whatever.
It's still annoying. That you have to do that.
It's annoying that I have to suffer for someone else cutting into my time. Yeah. So.
For sure.
That is all.
Okay. For me, wait, did I already say this?
You have one left.
Do I have one left?
I think so. Or you have none left.
Oh wait, maybe I have none left.
I have one more. I don't know if we did that right.
I don't know if we did that right. Wait, let me look. Let me
just double check. If not, it's okay.
I had said the one about. I don't have any more.
All right. So this will be my last one, and then we have some questions for each other about each other's industries to wrap it up. Okay. Number 1. This is 2 truths and 1 lie.
2 truths.
Like we have been playing the whole time.
Okay.
Number 1, I cut my finger during detail photos and got my blood all over the invite and the bride's gloves. Oh. Number 2, I once washed a bride's train in the sink right before the ceremony. And number 3, I repeatedly kicked a videographer's foot until they turned around during the ceremony because they were going to miss the bride walking down the aisle.
The first one I think is the lie.
Yeah. The blood all over.
Yeah, the blood was crazy.
That would not happen to me.
I'd get the Tide pin out.
Yeah. It actually, I have heard stories like on the podcast. We've had stories about people like getting like during details is when like all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
When it comes to like things dropping, things getting messy. I had a bride who, we went hard during portraits before the ceremony. Her train was so dirty that literally she like backed up right next to a sink and we just like scrubbed the heck out of her train and then used a hair dryer to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was actually crazy.
That is crazy.
And then the kicking a videographer's foot, the videographer actually listens to this podcast because she told me she's really sweet. We just were like shooting a wedding and the groom had a really like cute reaction. And so I could see like she was kind of next to me, but in front of me slightly. And I could see she was shooting the groom, but I also had turned and was shooting the bride walking down the aisle because the bride was walking pretty fast. And I was watching the videographer not get the bride. And the bride was probably halfway down the aisle at that point, and she still hadn't turned. So I took my foot and I just started kicking the crap out of her. I was like, trying to be like, turn around. And she finally got the message. She turned around and got the bride walking down the aisle. But I was like,
wow.
Oh my gosh.
You saved the day. Once again,
not all heroes wear capes.
Not all heroes wear capes. Just necessity.
Exactly. Shop necessity now.
That's so funny.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to. We just have questions for each other from the industry. This doesn't have to be long. Just like I feel like questions that maybe people might have.
Yeah, I want to know. I have a question from the last thing we were talking about.
Okay.
What is like your ideal? What is your ideal detail setup? Like what do you want? Do you have like a box? Like how does I'm just curious.
Yeah, I tell all of my couples like have a box ready to go when I get there. Mm-hmm. I would say 95% of people do. 5% of people are like, nah, I don't need those photos. I don't care. Having a box ready is ideal. I would say my most ideal setup was my last wedding I just shot. She had a big like plastic tote full of, she had all the invites. She had obviously like the rings and stuff. She had bought these like dishes, like these gold dishes. She had stamps. She had flowers in there. She had a really pretty vintage comb and like a vintage mirror and a vintage like brush. It just was like everything was so perfect. Mm-hmm. I didn't even I just laid it all out and then just shot it. Like it wasn't like I was like going and grabbing the veil or going and grabbing.
She delivered that to you hot to go.
Yes, hot to go. Like it was perfect.
That's nice.
That's my ideal setup. Cool. It's just like everything is perfect visually too. Like everything was cute.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, let me get to my question for you. So how do you like make money full time doing portraits?
The laugh is hilarious.
Well, like I'm thinking about for weddings, you have to book an average person, maybe 20, 30 weddings a year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you make full time money? Seriously.
So I mean, I think that you just have to also be in a space where you're charging yourself what you should be charging, and like charge what you're worth. So you can't get away with obviously booking, $300 sessions. Like you need to have quality, high luxury price things.
Okay.
And that selling prints is a great option as well.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kind of like an
awesome.
add-on.
Yeah, an add-on for prints is amazing.
Okay.
But I had very competitive pricing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you're doing prints, who do you print things through?
Impix or Millers. It's the same company, but Impix is like anyone can order from, and Millers is like the back end of photographers.
Gotcha.
But they're actually local to me.
Oh, cool.
So I can order them, and it'll be like I could order it midday, and it could be delivered the next day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that's
cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
I mean, I will say. Sorry, I'm going back into this question, but I'm thinking about it. So like you said, you have to book 30, 40 weddings a year, or whatever, full time.
Yeah.
Which you've heard me say this multiple times now because you've been to 2 different workshops that I've spoke at, and I would book, 90.
Right.
90, seniors,
It just blows my mind that there's that many seniors in one area.
Yeah. Well, so for me, backstory, I live around 4 different states. And so I live in Missouri, but it's really close to Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then of course Missouri. So with that, 4 different states, I'm an hour away from 4 major cities, and all these major cities have suburbs of schools.
Yeah. Okay.
So like there was one time where even my senior rep program that I do every single year, which basically kind of launched into the next year of seniors, I had 40, I think my biggest was 45 senior reps in 4 different states and like 32 school districts.
Yeah.
So think of all those 32 school districts, even if each school district had 150 kids.
Yeah.
Like in their class. Like that's a ton of people.
That's a ton of options.
Yeah. Like they have that's a ton of options.
Okay.
So,
that's true. Okay. That's valid.
Yeah. But you are working a lot. I mean,
right.
I'm not doing 12-hour wedding days, but I'm doing maybe multiple shoots a week that are 2 hours.
Yeah. I would rather do one really long day and have the rest of the week than have my work like split up into like 1 2-hour chunks throughout the week. That would bother me.
Yeah. Maybe it's what you're used to.
Right. It's true. Okay. My next question, amongst all of like the successful portrait photographers that or like look up to, whatever, what is like one common thing that you've noticed about all of those photographers? Like what do they all have in common that you think maybe has contributed to their success?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Can you ask me that one more time? I need to process that.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
It was a good question. I just need to process it.
What's one common thing that you've noticed about successful portrait photographers? One thing that you think has contributed to all of their success that they all have?
I think they are very intentional about. So I think what we have a problem with is we overshoot, overshare, over deliver everything. I think the ones that I'm obsessed with and that I've found myself obsessed with is that they're very intentional about what they're getting and the shot they're going for, which I love. And I have turned into that more. I used to be like overshoot everything. I would shoot so much.
Yeah.
And now I will do like a styled shoot or do something for like specific content, and where I would shoot 700 photos for one portrait, like one outfit. I'll shoot now maybe 200.
Okay.
Which sometimes I'll even look at that and I'm like, did I even shoot enough? And I'll go through and I have all these options, but it's exactly what I'm like. This is what I want. So I think they're just being intentional about what they're doing.
Okay. I like that. That's good. All right. My last question for you. What's one posing thing that you currently do with every single client you have?
Okay. So my biggest posing hack is I start every session sitting. Okay.
Okay.
So usually, whether it's a client like a senior photos or it's a portrait client, they're not always assigned model. So I start them sitting so they can get comfortable like with themselves. So you're not like stand here with like your hands doing this and that. So they're like, what do I do with each limb? Like they don't know what to do. So if you start them sitting like on a stair, they can like get really close to them and like, get the vibes of themselves and like feel comfortable. And then as you're doing that, you are like hyping them up by the second you start taking their photos.
Yep.
So you have them sit, get them pose, just take their photos, and be like, "This looks amazing."
Mm-hmm.
Be like, look how good this looks. Like show them immediately, and like get them hyped up before you get them to stand. And that's like my biggest hack for every session.
Yeah,
Start sitting.
I like that, building the confidence.
Building their confidence up.
Yeah, it's like how couples photographers usually start with like walking. It just like warms them up, gets them used to it.
Yeah.
You don't even sometimes end up using those photos, but it's just that like initial
for
like
sure
plunge into it.
Yeah, exactly. And then like in that time, I also do what I call like my mom photos for seniors.
Yeah.
So like you get all the smiling ones, all the ones that are like the ones that are going to be on the wall, the yearbook, that you like make sure that are like you have those. That way you can have more fun. And like you're not saying you're not going to get those between in the session, but like you're not as worried about them because like, you got those.
Yeah, get them done out of the way so then you can play around creatively.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the end of my questions. Did you have questions or that was it?
I know too much about you.
I know. I was going to say, I think I yapped enough that I don't think anyone needs to know anything more about the weddings I shoot.
I think it would be, I don't know if I would want this, but I would think I don't know. I was going to say it'd be interesting to like watch you during a wedding day. Like I want to see you locked in.
Oh, I'm locked in for sure.
I trust you are, but also I don't think I have the energy just like if I'm not shooting a wedding to just be there to watch you all day.
Right, yeah. I have recorded myself shoot a wedding, which you can actually find on my education shop. My wedding course follows me around during a wedding day. Mm-hmm. I will say I am a little bit more prone to stress than most people. Me and Charlie work really well together as a team because he somehow just never gets stressed, and I
never get stressed, literally.
Yeah, literally the chillest human ever. And I'm kind of the opposite where I like, I have like anxious tendencies. I'm kind of like a nervous chihuahua a little bit,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Just shaking.
Yeah, I'm literally just like shaking because I'm so excited.
If you've ever seen Beverly Hills Chihuahua,
that's me.
That's her.
That's funny. Yeah. I think I'm like a little bit prone to being stressed, but at the same time, I've done it enough that I really feel like if something is going wrong, I'm good at hiding it, but also like I know it's not the end of the world.
For sure. Yeah.
I've never had a problem at a wedding be like the end of the world. Yeah. Like actually like, oh, this person is walking away from the wedding. Like I've never had that happen. So I think like right now I'm just like, I lock in, get done when I need to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of do my job, get out.
Have you ever missed a first kiss?
Yes. I've told this story once, but it was a long time ago I told this story, so I can tell it again.
It's a little refresh.
Yeah. So this was pretty early in my career. I would say maybe my 5th or 6th wedding. And now I know the order of a ceremony. Like, I can tell when the first kiss is coming, but at the time I had no idea like what came before a first kiss really. And so I only had one camera body and I was switching out my lens and I hear like, you may now kiss the bride. And I was like,
you may not.
And I was in the back and I did not get the shot, but thankfully I like popped up before they kind of like looked, the couple, and I got them, right after, and then I got them walking down the aisle. I had a second shooter. It wasn't Charlie. They got a very side angle of it. And I was like, this is not going to cut it. So I photoshopped it. The first kiss.
How did you you had them do a kissing photo?
I actually didn't have them doing a kissing photo. So literally, I wish I would have just been like, go back to the front, do a kiss. That would have been so easy. What I did was I took a kissing portrait of them from earlier in the day where they were on the same like side or whatever. And I basically, what did I do? I positioned their bodies because I got it right. Like I got it like as they were pulling away from the kiss, but I didn't get the kiss. Okay. So I Photoshop their faces, but then I had to like Photoshop the background too. So I took like a photo of the background for my detail shots and overlaid it and then like erased it. So then it was like behind their heads. It was a whole thing, but they never noticed it was Photoshopped. I don't even think you would notice. Okay. It was that good. I spent hours doing this.
Wow.
So yeah, I've missed it once. I will literally never miss it again. Yeah. Now I get 500 photos of the first kiss just in case.
Yeah, just in case. That's fair.
I mean, thanks for asking. Now I'm triggered.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, Preston, do you have anything exciting coming up that you want to tell the listeners about?
I don't have anything exciting coming up that I can share yet.
Awesome. He's just a big ball of mystery.
I'm a big ball of mystery, but You can follow along always.
Yes. Follow him on Instagram. His stuff is going to be linked in the description of the episode. Preston, thank you for coming on this episode. I hope everyone listening has an amazing rest of their day.